but it's something that I must believe in, and it's there when you call out my name.
Fuck that shit. Because this is what we try to do. We try to make music to make you pissed off.
However, in the view of NWA,
a bitch is a bitch. So if I'm poor or rich, I talk in the exact same pitch. Bitch!
Yeah, for Valentine's Day.
Straight out Compton are back. No, straight out Preston are back.
They stole our title, didn't they?
They
Stole our title.
You're back. And if you didn't like the homage to Valentine's Day to start, then, you know, there's no ain't no pleasing.
Ain't no pleasing. Oh, we should play that. Can we play
So
that?
No,
what have we got today?
Well,
what
there was a
today?
reasoning behind the song we just played, The Bitch is a Bitch by NWA, because
Yes.
we're going to have a themed show.
Today
Everyone
is
loves the Straight Out Preston themed shows, and today is going to be a Dr. Dre themed show.
Yes. Charting his whole career, starting from World Class Wrecking Crew, NWA, to everything he's produced and his solo
Stuff, man. Indeed.
He's, would you say he's had one
It's
of
a
the
great
biggest-
way to preview Valentine's Day weekend, don't you think?
I think it is.
Is he
His
not-
music speaks to
Is he the
romanticism.
richest musician on earth?
He is the richest musician in the he's the richest
Is he
rapper in the
up
world. I know he's worth about 1.5 billion, I think, now. So,
From his headphones.
interesting fact number one
Yeah.
about Dre is that.
If any musician surpasses that, I'd be blown
Yeah.
away. I can't.
It would be interesting to
That would-
search that.
Yeah,
I think
I'll
it's
do
be-
that.
what happened was the figure came out because he recently sold. I think he sold Dre Beats to. Was it two? Was it Apple or Microsoft, something like that? He sold Dre Beats, yeah.
What's Dre? What's that thing he did the opening thing for? Dre Music, wasn't it? Dre.
The concert thing.
Yeah, was it Dre?
It was Dre Beats, wasn't it?
Was that?
It was
a launch
yeah.
party for something.
It was a
wasn't
launch party, and he basically got like every rapper he's ever collabed with on that,
Except
just
Snoop.
to have a concert, except
Yeah.
Snoop, and that was awesome.
Yeah. Would you say like of musicians, he's probably had like one of the biggest impacts in the genre of hip hop?
Oh, if you're talking in
In
terms,
West Coast hip-hop.
yeah, if you're talking in terms of influence, I'd say Dre is West Coast hip hop.
Yeah.
Whether to me though, I think I'm more of an East Coast guy personally. Like I respect West Coast and how like
I like
they made
G-Funk.
they made like G-Funk genre and stuff like that. Like that I respect, but I still think East Coast makes the best rappers.
Yeah,
personally.
I prefer hip-hop.
Especially if you look in terms of albums anyway,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
East Coast albums, definitely the best. That's my opinion.
West Coast is funkier.
West Coast is funky. West Coast is hazier as well.
Is it
Would you like to?
the old
agree?
geese funk?
The geese funk.
Geese funk.
Yeah.
So he's got this gangster image, Dr. Dre, but he started off, didn't he, wearing old?
Didn't start off with one, did he?
No, he
Dressed
did
as a
not.
doctor, wasn't he, I think?
I think that just goes to show you his mindset. Like, I don't know how he grew up, but I think he just always wanted to be a successful musician. That was it.
He's from Compton.
Yeah, he is.
Figured that. Apparently,
But the thing was, what people don't
he
realise,
got moved out of like a really bad school.
world class wrecking crew and you know, alike, that was hip hop.
Yeah.
That was hip hop in the mid '80s and the early '80s. That's what it looked like, and that's what it sounded like for the most part. So like, you know, Easy and Cube, you know, dissing him. Obviously, we'll talk about that. What happened after NWA, but that was hip hop for a time period. Which I know it's very gay, but it's the truth. And it's just amazing
wrong
now.
with that, is it?
It's amazing now. Like Dre actually was behind the evolution of hip hop, which
Yeah.
you know you will hear in this broadcast.
So should we kick off with World Class Wrecking Crew and turn off the lights? So Dre, very much an environmentalist, and he's getting his message out there. Turn off the lights, people.
So yeah, as you can see, when Dre first started, he wasn't very good.
Yeah.
No offense, Dre.
Yeah, don't hurt us.
But after, so yeah, basically, this, you know, that happened, World Class Wrecking Crew, and then that's when he hooked up with Cube, who I think he known, like they've been musicians like they'd known each other since like they were kids and stuff. And so yeah, they hooked up. They created
Not in
NWA.
that
At the start, NWA had like fucking loads of members. Then he cut it down to like, you know, the what was it, 5, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And then what really catapulted Dre as like the producer guy was when Boys in the Hood he came up. That's what put, you know, NWA, you know, on the map. That's what put Dre on the map as producer as well.
So in terms of NWA, what did everyone contribute to the band? Because Dr. Dre, he was the producer, obviously.
He did rap as well.
Yeah.
Well, they all rapped, didn't they?
Cube was the John Lennon of the NWA.
He was
He was the lyricist, the writer,
Yeah, that's another
best
thing
rapper.
about Dre. He gets a lot of his stuff ghostwritten, doesn't he? He's
Oh yeah.
He's not really a rapper, to be fair.
But the thing is, he can still go though. Like
Yeah, he can still.
where he gets written for him, he can still spit really well. Like he's got a good flow and he's got a good style, I think.
What's the ratio on his records? What's the ratio to him writing to like stuff being written for him? Like, does he have
it'd be like 70-30. Like I mean, I imagine the thing is, what I know from like with Eminem is basically he'll write something, he'll give it to Eminem. And Eminem will look at it and basically be a teacher and be like, yeah, that's good. No, we'll take that out and I'll put this in for it. So it's basically one of them. I think that's what Ice Cube was like as well. In NWA, he was like, right, you know, write something and then, you know, let me look over it. And, you know, I'll chop and edit it. It was that kind of thing. So Dre did contribute to writing in some aspect, I imagine.
Eazy-E, he was the accountant, he was the businessman.
The businessman from selling the guns and the drugs.
Yep.
Do you know Eazy-E made $250,000 from selling drugs,
Who
and
did?
that's what
Dre?
Eazy-E.
Oh, Easy.
So that's what funded Ruthless Records.
Oh, right,
What, you know, Eazy-E's record label.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, because he used to sell guns and shit as well, man. Like he was a top gangster.
He's fun raps, isn't he?
What's your also thing about Dre's like gangster image? Like, you know, he was portrayed as a gangster,
Yeah.
he wasn't actually a gangster. Like, did he sell drugs?
Well,
I
I think he's got a few, like, he has been locked up for hitting women.
Yeah.
He was
No,
not
I
very
seen that.
gangsterish.
I think he's a bit of a knob,
That's a
probably.
knobbish, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if he, like, it says in here that he went to a school that had gang problems, but he got moved shortly after going to a safer one. And
We're not
he's what is it? He's one of his stepbrothers, Warren G. Or one of his stepbrothers.
Yeah, that's true.
We're not advocating being a gangster, by the way. We're not advertising selling. If
I
you want
am.
to get into the music industry, there's better ways to do it than selling drugs and guns. But you know, if it works for him, it works for Eazy and Simon Cowell, then fair enough.
Once
But,
again, no, I think Dre's mindset
from
was
Simon
always just he wants to make money, he wants to be a musician, not
Yeah.
I'm a gangster and I'm gonna make music like you know while I'm being a gangster. I don't
It's just
think.
a profitable image
Yeah.
to.
I think so.
So MC Ella, he was.
That's also why he was like the most. He's probably the most intelligent guy to ever come out of rap, I'd say, because he knew how to make a profit better than anyone else.
Yeah.
He knew how to, every protege he takes under his wing as well is, and you know, turns out for the most part to be an amazing rapper. So I'd say he's the most intelligent guy to come out of rap as well.
He very much changes with the times.
Exactly. He's like the Paul Heyman of rap, isn't he?
He is, yeah, visionary. And so MC Ella, he was the MC. He was the
DJ Yellow.
DJ as well.
DJ Yellow was the
Yeah.
DJ, and MC Ren
MC
was also a hard rapper, man. He spit. He was very underrated.
Did
He wrote his own rhymes. You know, I thought his flow was great. It's just unfortunate, you know, he didn't have much of a solo career, but
Yeah.
you know, he was just one of them solid rappers which you could always depend on. So that made up NWA. And
Yeah. So here's so the record we talked about earlier, Boys in the Hood. This came out just before
just before they
NWA's
hit it big, this was like, I'm gonna say it's probably like 87.
Hmm.
So this is what Dre. So basically, Ice Cube wrote, I think, every single word to this song, and Dre obviously produced it to make
and
Easy a lot of money.
Skills.
This is Easy. This is Easy. Boys in the Hood, produced by Dr. Dre. Here we go.
Hey, yo, man, you remember that shit Easy did a while back? Motherfucker said wasn't gonna work.
Boy, that old crazy shit.
Yeah, the stupid shit, man.
Dope.
Hey, yo, Easy.
Suckers.
Hey, man, we should come off the piano for a minute, man, and bust this crazy shit.
the start of Straight
That's,
Outta Compton.
that's basically the start of NWA. That single, that was the first single produced for '86 from NWA and the Posse. That album, yeah, Dre's first single he produced. And as Tom noted, while we were off the air, like you said, the production was very simple on that.
Very basic.
Yeah. I think it complemented it well though. Like I don't think it,
I think that's
it
like
needed.
what the style was like that early.
Yeah.
on, wasn't it?
No, but that was just like pun intended, ruthless, like just bars were in it. Like it was that kind of straight to it.
Hard. Sort
Yeah,
of.
exactly. So yeah, and what came after that was basically one of the most revolutionary rap albums ever, which was Straight Outta Compton.
So what was
Would you say that's like the best produced album maybe ever?
Straight Outta
from
Compton?
Dre?
I reckon that the Kendrick, the Bad City thing,
Not heard it.
probably.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Need to listen to that.
But in terms of like, talk about it being revolutionary. How was the hip hop? How was hip hop before like NWA and then after it?
How was it before?
Like
Well, basically, it wasn't as like there wasn't explicit content. Basically,
I think it
But-
was more of a cultural thing before.
yeah, it
like-
was. No, it was a lot to do with
It was like with
it was a
b-boying
lot
and
to do
all
with
that, like, yeah.
women. It was the culture.
Yeah.
There was women, but basically, Straight Outta Compton was the first rap album or the second to get the parental advisory sticker. I think Ice-T's may have been first, or I'm not sure, but yeah. So if you're talking in terms of the bars and the lyrics, NWA was basically the first rap. The Straight Outta Compton was the first rap album to introduce like swearing, but on a
They were the
ridiculous
first proper
level.
gangster ones, really. weren't
But
they?
basically, yeah, they basically
Started
introduced
getting
gangster rap, really, when you think about it. But rap was still good. Like rap was at its peak. It was like golden age around this time. But it was weird because like NWA and Straight Outta Compton album completely differed to anything that was around, because you had stuff like Eric B and Rakim, which was you had like the DJ and you had the rapper, but these were just a straight up group that rapped about like real issues and stuff. Whereas Eric B and Rakim, or like Boogie Down Productions, KRS One and that, they just rapped about like the culture and stuff. So
Did they come before Public Enemy? NWA.
it was like, that's the thing. I think it was around the same time, or maybe Public Enemy was before, but
Yeah. But so these two, those two groups are what would you say
revolutionised. Yeah, they
brought
touched upon like the
politicism into
social aspects of life and stuff. So
Yeah, and they made like as Chris Rock used to say, people used to argue about rap being an art form, and they made it like an art. Would you say, like with the lyrics
yeah,
and
I would
the
say so.
expression of social issues?
if it's pissing people off, then it's working. That's what I'd say.
That's
And it did.
that's why I try and technique. That's what I think about my chat lines, my approach to women.
Why? Because you want to be gay? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's pissing me off. It's not working. But anyway, so this is should we start off with Straight Outta Compton, the title track from it, and this is the first track on the album, I think, the opening one.
And definitely not where we stole the idea for his show name from.
No, they stole it from us, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we
Once
expect
again,
royalties from the film.
this also is. It also says how like it's not out of date. It's not out of date at all. Is it? Like you can still listen to this album back and this song back, and it doesn't sound out of date, which is a testament to the production.
Yeah.
I'd say by Dre.
It definitely is, and we're talking about. We'll get round to it later on when we play this song. Is this one? Yeah, Straight Outta Compton samples Funky Drummer, right? We're talking about revolutionary tracks. You want to know how many hip hop songs sample Funky Drummer by James Brown? There's Rebel Without a Pause, Public Enemy, Bring the Noise, Public Enemy, Run's House, Run DMC, Fuck the Police, Eric B and Rakim, the Fight the Power, Bummer Said Knock You Out. So, so basically, also what is the track that's being sampled as well, James Brown, Funky Drummer. This might be one of the first like hip hop songs to sample it as well. This is also a very influential piece of music on hip hop. Anyway, here we go. Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Preston.
No one cares about James Brown.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
So there we go. That was
If It Ain't Rough. That was MC Ren's. Basically, his song is he spit every verse on that. And that's probably like my favourite album track from that album. I think the production's excellent from Dre. Once
Brilliant
again,
beat.
suck that big dick of his. I don't care.
So next, so we talk about MC Ren. Like,
Wait, Tom, what you say is what were Dre's influences?
Oh yeah, his main
then?
influences. He said George Clinton, Isaac Hayes, and Curtis Mayfield are all 70s sort of funk musicians. Obviously, Isaac Hayes, he's got Shaft song, didn't he, and sort of stuff like that.
Do you think he sampled a lot of their songs? I imagine.
yeah, because he George Clinton, he I can't remember which one it was now, which Parliament Funkadelic song he did sample. But loads of rap. Doggy Style, Atomic Dog, like that. That's an example. On What's My Name by Snoop Dogg. Because it used to be called P-Funk, like that kind of funk music that George Clinton used to make, and so that's where the name G-Funk came from. They just added in geezer in there.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. And so that's, so P-Funk. So
That's interesting.
yeah.
So yeah, next we'll play our last song from Straight Outta Compton, and basically this was Dre's coming out party in terms of if he can actually rap, and I'm not sure. Like I imagine
the production's good on this.
yeah,
Well,
obviously.
I can't listen to the original song now without thinking of NWA.
That's the thing. I remember
it's
when
been covered a lot.
when I first. That's the thing. I like. It used to say remix, and I had no idea. You know, there was an original song. So when I was a kid, so I remember this used to always come on the music channels when I was a kid all the time. This song, and I'd love it. But it'd say remix, and I was like, I didn't have a clue. You know, that was covered. But it was interesting, and like I know that now. But yeah, so Dre's rapping on this. I don't know who wrote it. I'm guessing Cube did. I'm guessing Cube wrote the song, but I think he does spit well, and he proves people wrong on this track. Don't you agree?
I do. I mean, as we'll get into the Eazy-E beef, some of the lyrics in this song were used against him later on.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were. The main one for me was he talks about, which is just the amazing foreshadowing when he talks about he doesn't smoke weed in a studio, and then his next album is based on weed. It's based on
Chronic.
Yeah.
That is arthritis, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
And another thing which is mental, this Express Yourself song is like a sort of, it's like in terms lyrically, it's like a De La Soul type.
Yeah, well,
like,
what they try, that's another reason why I rate this album, because they tried to balance it out. Like I remember in an interview on the Arsenio Hall show, which was we haven't touched upon this anyway. Like the FBI would investigating their album,
right?
The song "Fuck the Police," and they were trying to subpoena them and all that. And basically, where they went on the show and they were like, "Oh, why don't they listen to Express Yourself? Because we're sending positive vibes. We're talking about social issues, the fuck the police and that. But then we've got songs like Express Yourself, which is positive stuff. We are positive. We do both.
Yeah,
and it's the truth.
Well, a lot of their songs they did criticize like Dope Man as well. They criticised drugs and stuff. So they did, they were sending a good message as well as.
I'm looking forward to how they portray the whole FBI. So basically, the FBI, were on their back about fuck the police, and basically the whole album, like. And NW, they said don't play this song. I think it was a show, maybe Minneapolis or something like that. They were saying, you can't play this song, like we won't let you play it. They played it anyway, and got into loads of shit for it.
But I'm looking forward,
exactly. I'm looking forward to how they portray it in the upcoming movie. So because there's a movie coming out this year.
I think the way you've got to look at it with that, this is my opinion, is like if you were a 17-year-old kid in Compton in the early 90s and you listen to that album, like, would it make you want to go and be a gangster? Or that for me is a real test, like whether it's positive or not.
It's an interesting
so you're talking about whether the influence is bad or good?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's an interesting debate, that.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I also that's another thing why it's the influence of that, because obviously most rappers that came up listened to this album. Yeah. Started the gangster life and then became rappers. Like even mid 90s rappers, even early 90s rappers listened to NWA, even for bad or good. Became gangsters, then eventually became rappers. But it's to me it's positive to the music industry. So it had a good influence in I think.
So here is Express Yourself,
tune
by NWA, and here we go.
Brothers out there flaking and perpetrating, but scared to kick reality.
Yo, Dre, you been doing all this dope producing. You had a chance to show them what time it is.
So what you want me to do?
Express yourself. So yeah, that ends the NWA portion of the
We should
the show.
to say they went on to make a second album, which was called M Word for Life, and
Can't say that. Get us in trouble.
yeah, went to
We'll defo win most controversial award if you say that.
got to number one in the
Choking on a bit cum there, Lou.
number one on the charts. What songs were on that? There was always
To be honest with you, I mean, Straight Outta Compton is the revolution one, but
yeah.
this album is also sick. Like, it always enters something, and 100 Miles and Running, like, you know, they're two of my top 5 favourite NWA songs.
Wasn't that on the extended play on the EP or something? 100 Miles and Running.
Possibly.
They made an EP that had 100 Miles and Running.
And just Don't Bite It as well, yeah. I remember.
So around this time...
I also think about NWA, I think that, in my opinion, like, the best greatest hits album. I remember I bought that one on CD when I was like 7.
After Michael Jackson, of
The
course.
Case, Everton. I thought they had the best greatest hits album for me. So yeah, there's an NWA biopic coming out in a few months. It's a few months now, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so. Yeah, it's this year.
To this.
It'll be like, I think it's like June, July, and the trailer's out for it. So go and look at it.
Definitely.
It looks promising. I'll say that.
Yeah. So after the second album, then Ice Cube. Was it after the second one Ice Cube left the band, or the first one?
It was after the first.
Yeah.
First. I believe. Yeah.
And he left the band because of he didn't like the finances.
The finance,
the money
like,
he was getting.
and he was right.
Yeah.
He was right because Jerry Heller and he who both ran Ruthless Records. Basically, they were just collecting. You know, they were getting the bigger percentages of the pie, basically. Whereas, and Ice Cube realised it and was just like, fuck that. You know, I'm gonna make it on my own. To his credit, he did.
And soon after that, Dr. Dre. Well, an album and an EP later, Dr. Dre left, didn't he? Was he there for the third EP as well? Wasn't he?
No, he was there for all of them. Yeah.
And then he left.
He left, and then that is when
reasons.
it disbanded. Obviously,
Yeah.
you know, what are you gonna do without Dre's producing?
The producer and the lyricist.
Exactly.
Nowhere.
Be like Paul and John leaving the old Beatles guys.
Just Ringo George guy there. Just played it out.
Just strumming out, lad.
I still pay to see that actually, George. You got that. Anyway, but yeah, and so he left for similar reasons. What he was unhappy with the finances with Eazy-E, and they very much fell out. And we'll get into their beef when we play in a second.
Ice Cube's quite a good producer as well. A bit off
Is he?
topic.
Yeah, Ice Cube does produce.
He does produce good stuff.
His first 2 albums as well is Death Certificate and I forgot the name of the other one. Anyway, also 2 great solo albums. So that was the thing about NWA. It was like Dre and Cube, both were successful solo artists, came from that. Easy was a little Ren, not so much, but yeah.
So this is Ain't Nothing But a G Thing. And this is, I'd say, the signature tune from the album that everyone remembers.
Yeah,
really.
would you say this is basically the song that created G-Funk or put G-Funk on the map?
Maybe this sample's part of.
I think Doggy.
Album's
yeah,
definitely started G-Funk.
Yeah. Doggy Style was more G-Funk like, but
Ice Cube's albums were very G-Funk as well. Maybe not Def.
No, they weren't. He was more hardcore bars. No, he wasn't G-Funk.
Yeah, but
he was hardcore.
The beats are like West Coast.
I suppose. Well, yeah, I'd credit this as putting G-Funk on the map. This song personally.
Yeah, definitely the album. I don't know which song it is. So. Cool.
Anyway, this Ain't Nothing But a G Thing by.
Listen, Tom.
We touched on the beef he had with Eazy-E, so let's go into detail on this. What was the beef with Eazy-E then? He was annoyed that he was ripping him off, him and Jerry Heller, with the music royalties and.
Yeah, basically, it was all that. It was all. At the end of the day, what's it always down to? It's always down to money. Jerry Heller and Eazy-E were ripping Dre off. You know, Dre should have had a bigger percentage of royalties, all that shit. So one day, Suge Knight Basically, he makes Death Row Records, wants to sign Dre, Snoop Dogg, the lot.
Isn't he a co-owner or something like that? He co-founded it with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be right.
Yeah.
So, because he had a lot of money, so so he funded it. You know, he gave obviously offered Dre a lot of money. So Suge Knight went to Eazy-E. Because Dre was still under contract with Ruthless Records, and Dre wanted out. Jerry Heller and Eazy wouldn't let him out, so that also didn't help with the beef. So Suge Knight, him and his boys went to Eazy-E's, basically beat the shit out of him, I believe, with like baseball bats, threatened his family and his kids if he didn't let Dre out of his contract with Ruthless Records. So he eventually did. Eazy did. So Dre signed to Death Row, and then that's where he sparked the song "Fuck with Dre Day," which was the diss to Eazy-E, and then that's where the beef started. So
should we talk about Eazy-E's response after this?
Yeah.
This is F with Dre.
So that was I thought that was pretty good backstory for myself.
Yeah, it's pretty sick, that. Evie and Ryan want to shout out. Okay.
All right,
there's only listeners probably, so shout out Evie and Ryan.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? So this is F with Dre Day, and
fuck.
This is Fuck with Dre Day, and this is again featuring Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. This to Eazy-E. Rest in peace.
I dare you to throw me off air. Paul Heyman.
Should we play that?
How you doing?
Oh man, I'm chilling. How you doing?
Doing fine.
Yeah, it's good.
You know, the problem with this business, people just don't trust each other. I'm glad.
So the results of that, Eazy, he made the retaliation.
Real motherfucking G's.
Real motherfucking G's. Which I think was a better song. Both good songs.
I think it was a better diss as well. Yeah.
Better diss.
Sure.
One of the lyrics.
Probably
to
Eazy's best song.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. One of the lyrics to that, of course, was they say you tried to F me on Dre Day, but Dre Day was
only makes Eazy's payday. So as I explained about what happened, the Suge Knight ordeal, and he said, I'll let you sign with Death Row, but apparently he was still kind of signed to Ruthless at the same time. So Eazy-E was making money off Dre from Death Row. So he had the last laugh, really, didn't he?
Yeah.
Even if his family did get killed, he still got no. Just kidding.
He's rest in peace, by the way, Eazy-E.
Died of AIDS. So yeah,
rest in peace.
That was just two of the top singles from The Chronic. So that was the revolutionary G-Funk album. And then moving on to what I think is a better G-Funk album, would you agree, Tom, is Doggy Style, Snoop Dogg's debut album?
Yeah, Snoop Doggy Style's good. I think I like both. I think the Thingy one's a bit more gangster, I think, the Dre one.
Yeah.
Like in content and stuff. But Snoop Dogg's...
This is just pure vibes.
Yeah, it is a good one.
And he was also signed to, of course, Ruthless.
In fact...
Death Row as well, wasn't he?
Doggy Style was the first album my brother ever bought, I think.
Did he?
Yeah,
CD?
and I bought the Chronic. So yeah, I bought the Chronic 2001 and he bought
I bought Chronic 2001 too.
That was my first album, yeah.
Mine was Slim Shady LP when I was 5.
I think I bought that shortly after.
Yeah, bro.
And watch it going up a Whitby and bumping Eminem.
I think mine was Blue.
This is for the hustlers, now back to the G's. This is for the G's, and this is for the hustlers. This is for the hustlers, now back to the G's.
So another artist that he produced that was also on Death Row was Tupac.
The returning Tupac.
Rest in peace.
So Tupac basically was in prison, and Suge Knight, the founder of Death Row, he paid for his $2 million bail, and he paid for his bail if Tupac promised him 2 albums on the label, which he did give him All Eyes on Me and Me Against the World, which Dre produced both of.
And they later had a falling out, didn't they, Tupac?
Yeah, just before he died, which was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the peak of the, collaborations was obviously California Love. That was probably that was like the peak of West Coast rap, would you say? The
Most
sound.
you say.
Yeah. It is the sound, it was the production, the groove, it was everything.
Yeah, and Dr. Dre, of course, he raps on this as well, and good flow on this.
Yeah, I imagine, I don't know if Pac maybe wrote or helped him wrote his bars.
Pro Pac probably, even if whatever I think Dr. Dre's verse, I prefer it on this
yeah,
song.
that's a good point, to be honest with you. Dre's verse might be better on this.
But if Tupac wrote it, then credit to him, but whoever wrote it, credit to them. It's good bar.
We don't want the original.
Do we not?
No, we want that version.
Okay.
So yeah, California Love.
Yeah. And this is Dr. Dre, Tupac featuring Dr. Dre. Here we go. Let's do it, people. Going on. So that was California Old Love.
Indeed.
Tupac, Dr. Dre.
I just said then, Dre is definitely the best West Coast producer, but personally I like East Coast producers better, such as J Dilla, DJ Premier, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's that more underground
It's
feel
more like,
to it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more, I think, more real hip-hop, whereas that's more funk influenced,
yeah.
like the West Coast stuff.
True that. And this was obviously around the time of the East Coast and West Coast. I'd say this was this and Hit 'Em Up was like they were the two single
that's
forefronts.
almost like a diss track, isn't it? Saying,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that and Hit 'Em Up were the two forefronts of the of West Coast, beefing with East Coast. So
and we have to say,
and obviously, Pac and Dre they did beef. I'm not too sure why. But I definitely know Dre didn't want to go at war with the East Coast. He was never like Snoop was always the antagonist, and obviously obviously Pac was he was what he was. Yeah. But Dre never wanted you to go down that road because I think he predicted there would be death. Like I think that was the rumor. Like he knew there'd be a lot of killings and shit, and that's obviously what happened. It's unfortunate.
We have to say rest in peace to the original song that was sampled was "Woman's Woman" by Joe Cocker. Joe Cocker, of course, died
recently, wasn't it?
Recently, yeah, 2014 or might have been 2015. No, 2014, yeah.
Yeah, it was towards the end of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, rest in peace to him as well. Great original track. She trekked that out.
Good singer.
Preston in Yorkshire.
Hey?
Out of Yorkshire, that guy from Sheffield.
Was he? Yeah. Yeah, but that
Joe Cocker.
Yeah, it's from Sheffield.
That's South Yorkshire.
South Yorkshire.
You're not South, are you?
No, I'm West Yorkshire.
I'm West Yorkshire. Keith Lee.
West Side.
Speaks up. Wait. West Side.
West Lane.
West Side is the best. I'm from South Side, Liverpool, so yeah.
South East, I'm not.
South East London.
East Coast over there. I'm gonna have to drive by him up way fast.
Yeah, I don't think you're in a state to be driving.
I'm never in a state to be driving.
So it took a while for Dre to release his own solo album. So he released Chronic in '92, and then it took how many years? It took 7 years for him to release a new album. The next album, which was Chronic 2001, which he released in '99. I prefer that album. I think that album's better for me. As we said off the air, it's more modern. It's
first album I ever bought. So
it was.
That one,
yeah. Mine was Slim Shady LP, and then this was the second one. I couldn't believe I was buying hip hop albums, and I was allowed
to. My dad confiscated this after me.
Did he?
Yeah.
I don't know how. I think my mum, she didn't realise, the rap music was.
I remember peeling the parental advisory sticker off.
Yeah. I always know. I have a great memory of my dad walking in when I was listening to Fight Music by D12, and. He went off on me badly because there was Bizarre. He listened to the Bizarre verse and he was talking about raping his grandmother. And my dad walked in on that verse, and he was just like, "You cannot listen to this shit." But I still did, and I think my mum just didn't realise. Like,
I think it was a porn
because she was buying me rap albums when I was like 6 years old. It's just madness when you think about it.
Yeah.
And
so talking about that Slim Shady LP, it was around this time that he hooked up with Eminem, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it's Slim Shady LP first, because I think that got released a few months before 2001 Chronic.
Yeah.
So yeah, like once again, so Snoop was a protege, and then he found his next protege, which was M. He found him on the underground battle rap scene in Detroit.
You could also say to an extent 50 as well. He's like
50 is a joint production really with M and Dre. So they recorded the Slim Shady LP, which personally I think is it's my favourite album of Eminem's.
I think lyricism is my
the wordplay on that.
Wordplay is absolutely.
In terms of songs, Marshall Mathers LP has got the better songs, but for wordplay and for lyricism, like you say,
it's my favourite.
It's comedic, And so they collabed on a song. The second single was "Guilty Conscience." And is this your favourite song? Is it one of your favourite Eminem songs?
It's one of them. I think My Fault's probably my favourite.
Cool.
But this definitely is up there. And
so basically, it's like
video's great.
The concept of the song is so cool. It's never been done before. And just you listen to some of the lyrics, just makes you laugh.
Yeah.
So when he calls Dre out on hitting D Barnes, which is what you talked about before, which is why he got arrested for slapping like his ex-girlfriend. And Eminem calls him out on it.
He's good for being cheeky, Eminem.
Yeah.
Cheeky
So
guy.
basically, Dre's trying to be the good guy, and Eminem's trying to be the heel, and
Yeah.
and Dre's trying to be the face.
Yeah.
It's best. Tom's just looking over. I was like, I have no idea what that means.
Cue the track.
Anyway, this is Guilty Conscience by
To wrestling
I know the
terms.
song, I was just thinking.
Pro wrestling terms.
Yeah. Here we go.
Where's your gun at?
Saying kill people.
Of course not.
But yeah.
That's gangster.
That's gangster. That's a
The
cracking
concept of that song is amazing.
I've got an interesting.
Smart.
I've just been thinking, right. Sometimes it's dangerous when I think, but you know Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
He was on Top Gear recently. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember.
So yeah.
But when he was interviewed, he was saying he was one of them kids that had a really rubbish time up until he like sort of left school, and now he's really cool and he's loaded and
Yeah.
he sleeps
For
with
sure.
birds and stuff.
For sure.
And I can imagine Eminem, it was very much like that for him because he was like white when he
In the black community.
predominantly black. Like I've seen a documentary, his family on it, and they're literally
Ugly.
backward.
Creatures like fiends,
Right,
like
full of
cretins,
fiends.
like Preston locals, kind of.
Yeah, no, we love Preston. But yeah, and I can imagine Eminem, he were a bit like that. Like he had a really rubbish time.
Yeah.
Until he,
But that's
until that happened.
Yeah,
until
I
Dre
suppose,
found him.
but yeah, no, he had all that shit. I mean, you know, dead end jobs. He tried to, you know, commit suicide after his first album flopped. You know, obviously his trial tribulations. His uncle killed himself. Yeah, he's so there's all that. Like he was poor as fuck. He lived in a trailer. But the thing is, I think in school because he rapped, he was still quite popular. Like he used to date girls, like and obviously Kim, whether I've seen her now, was when she was young, she was quite fit from what I've seen. So you know, a little bit different, but. But I think because he was rapping, like even back then, he was kind of popular. Maybe not in a good way, but he was still his name was still out there. But it's an interesting comparison, Tom.
Yeah, well, Evie's saying we should leave Ed Sheeran alone, but you know.
Anyway,
who would win in a fight? That's the question.
Eminem,
winning a freestyle battle between
you just
those two.
you'd pull his hair, wouldn't you?
Imagine that for a freestyle battle was Ed Sheeran.
Oh, I wonder who'd win that.
That would end quite quick.
That would end very quickly.
True that.
He's ginger.
Just throw it out there, Tom. You bald twat.
Anyway, so
I'm jealous.
Moving on to the 2001 album, should we play What's the Old Difference?
Yeah, yeah. This is one of my favourite collaborations. You've also got Exhibit on here. Exhibit's fire. He's underrated.
They did a tour, didn't they?
The Up and Smoke tour. Yeah. Well, after a really well, what could I say?
A live version from that.
Well, I could do it. Yeah. After on Friday night, after a very let's just say, you know, drunken night, me and my friend Daniel watched the whole of the Up and Smoke tour from like 4 till like 7 in the morning. The 3 hour like cut version as well. It was great, and yeah. That was amazing promotion for Dre's album as well. Like what a tour! It's got like all the best rappers you can think of on that tour.
Snoop, Ice Cube.
Yeah, Ice Cube
exactly.
There's a video somewhere of Ice Cube like sea walking or something, which is like some stupid gangster walk. It's like this funky West Coast.
A bounce.
Yeah. Bounce
I know bounce.
Yeah, absolutely sick. That's worth a look.
So
you have to practice that shit though,
you
Tom.
do. We're going to be doing that across nightclubs in Preston.
Oh yeah.
Sometime soon.
They'll be scared. They'll fear us.
I'm going to get a massive double XL white t-shirt and get this done.
With tap out on.
Yeah. No. Plain. Sleeves past your wrists, you know.
Of course. Baggy clothing in it.
One of them.
Chains.
Anyway, let's play this.
Alright, let's do it. This is that's the difference between Dr. Dre.
What's the difference between what?
Do you know the damn songs, Mike?
I don't know. This is Blue. No, this is Dr. Dre and Eminem. What's the difference?
The big little style was straight coasting. What's the difference between me and you?
film.
What are you talking about? We're not on about any. What are you tripping?
Anyway,
Lewis Sanchez tripping balls, people. We were talking about Dre and Cube, Natural Born Killers, and you turn around and say, "Is that from Weekend at Bernie's?"
No,
shut up.
The lyrics that Eminem's referencing.
We weren't talking about that, bro. That had nothing to do with the conversation.
Well, the song was playing, and you said the word
No.
film, so I made the connection.
You blanked out like you always do.
I don't care.
Anyway.
Basically, that was
Basically,
referencing a
Weekend
film.
and Bernie's just shit film.
I've never even seen
and
it.
you're a shit listener.
I don't care. Whatever. Nah. But basically, yeah, that was making reference to a film called Weekend at Bernie's, I think, even though I've not seen it. But anyway.
Bro.
Well, if there is some tracks, we'll have to play them at the end. There's at least one that is really good.
It's time constraints, Tom. I mean,
Yeah,
I would love to play them all. I would love to play all the Dre tracks in the world.
Should we mention some then that we missed out?
Well, we'll do it at the end.
Yeah.
But the next Prodigy.
So
yeah, we'll move on to the next
line it up
Prodigy.
because we have only got 20 minutes now.
So he went on to produce Ice Cube, Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP2. He did You Let Me Blow Your Mind for Eve. He did that as well. Did Mary J. Blige, Busta Rhymes, whatever. Did Break Your Neck. Warren G. So anyway, we move on to his next protege.
Yeah. So
which
after
is 50 Cent.
after the Chronic, I mean, I think he died off a bit. I mean, he must have
Well,
produced like Exhibit.
He produces a lot of things.
Yeah, he does.
But not much himself. He didn't do much solo work.
Yeah, that's true.
He's produced quite a lot of people though. In
then the next guy to come through was 50, which was more of a joint because he signed to Shady Records. It was more of a joint thing with Dre and M. But another successful this album, Get Rich or Die Trying, great produced album, one of my favorites. It's a classic. 50 is like his only good album really when you think about it, but it was the most anticipated rap album of all time. Biggest selling as well. Biggest selling debut rap album of all time as well.
Jesus, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So here we go, and this is a track from it called If I Can't, which personally I think is one of Dre's
so
best.
Big on 50 Cent though when he won that.
This album became legendary, like just off one album, man. It's ridiculous.
So many good tracks on it.
Yeah.
This is If I Can't by 50 Cent. Here we go.
From the film Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Aftermath. Shady.
That was If I Can't. Move on to the next protege, which was shortly after, was the Game.
Yeah.
Now this
Triple
album, not Triple H, unfortunately. This album, the documentary, is that my most nostalgic album ever. I bought it the day of the release. I was so anticipated for it, and the hype for it was unbelievable, and I thought it lived up to it. And to this day, I always listen to it. Like, to me, it's a rap classic. Even if there's not, with regards to the Game, people don't put him in top 5 lists or anything, but for me, he's in my top 5 list. It might be purely nostalgic, I don't know, but I think Game's a sick rapper, and this album was a classic rap album for me.
Did he beef with 50 eventually?
Eventually, just after this album, yeah, a bit massive beef actually. Yeah, I remember as a kid, I was on Game's side. I bought this mixtape re-released, the disc mixtape, G You Not. I bought that mixtape, man.
Sick.
Indeed. And so this was a Dre produced West Side Story. The thing about this album as well is the documentary was it was kind of a revitalization of West Coast rap. That's what he was aiming to do. And I thought he achieved it, kind of like he was, because he's from Compton obviously, isn't he?
Yeah. And
the sound and the way it was produced, he was trying to bring back that West Coast feel. Because with 50, he's more flashy and more fashionable and more, like party anthem type.
Yeah.
But I thought the Game was more. I thought he was West Coast like I thought.
So this is West Side Story by the old The Game, and she's got no affiliation with the musical West Side Story.
Or Weekend at Bernie's.
Or Weekend at Bernie's. This is West Side Story. Not Triple H.
Gangsta till I die. That California chronic got me so high. King from nigga West Side.
West
Season
Side.
yeah.
Anyway, so that was the game West Side Story. That was the musical Weekend at Bernie's. So that was 05.
Yeah, it was released about 05.
We've got about 10 minutes left, so let's skip forward to recent times and his most recent protege.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really. Can you think of did he have many proteges in between that? Anyone big? Anyway, wasn't.
Well, let's have a look. What he's
anyone you can think of.
He's produced some more Eminem.
Obviously, yeah. Produced more M.
He's produced some more 50 Cent.
Some G-Unit.
Eminem's not a bad
produced some
producer,
Jay-Z.
Far out point, by the way.
Huh?
Eminem can produce as well, can't he?
Yeah, he can produce. Yeah. I mean, he's alright. Like some of his stuff's quite crap, but some of his stuff's good. Like, you know, one off.
He produced Nas track. He produced Gwen Stefani, Rich Girl. So again, you know, not just doing rap, doing some pop music as well.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes did some more of him. Kingdom Come, good album. Jay-Z, he did that.
Of course, he has to help
well,
Jay-Z. Everyone
no,
has to help Jay-Z with everything.
I haven't really listened
Production,
to the album.
writing rhymes.
Jay-Z's one of them. Well,
Yeah.
he's probably the most.
He is the most overrated rapper.
Well, Jay-Z, as we do know, did write the lyrics to Still Dre for Dr. Dre. Bit of
Yeah, but Dre's had loads of. I mean, Jay-Z's had loads of lyrics written for him. He completely copied Royce the 5 Nine's verse on
And he
Renegade.
got tore apart by Nas when they had a beef. Didn't he?
Exactly.
Oh, if we had time, we should have played Crack a Bottle, Dr. Dre, Eminem, 50 Cent. But
You love that song,
that's
don't
a
you?
great song.
And when that came out, that's when.
Yeah, no, when it
Pump
came
Up
out,
Remix,
I remember I downloaded it like 6.
Yeah, because his album that's meant to come out and it never has. That's been.
Which
leaked,
do you want to talk about Detox?
Yeah.
We should
Been
touch upon
leaked.
Detox. So we'll touch upon that at the end.
Is it actually
Makes
true?
sense.
Talk about Beats by Dre. That's a major important part. The headphones. And
Yeah,
that.
headphones. Well, you can get better.
That was it. Well, that's it. That's all we know. We're not business people. No, what I mean, I don't own a pair. I know, a lot of people do. I know my friend was back at home, and you know, when you put them on, the bass is great. It is amazing, and but the thing is,
You can get like Bose.
they're expensive, man. Like I would never pay, like the price,
No.
£120 for a
really
pair of
good
headphones.
Earphones,
Yeah.
these are only 20 quid, but they're good.
But he made a lot of money off that, and now he's what's the new
like the whole sound system that went into all that was complicated then, and it does sound better when you put them in. I will be honest, but for me, I would never pay. No wonder he's a billionaire because the prices he's charging for them headphones is quite ridiculous.
And fair
play to him.
And he
Sold it to Apple.
And
He
now
sold it
he's
to
a
Apple,
billionaire.
and he's now a billionaire.
Richest musician we say earlier on.
I think so. Yeah, 1.5 billion. Man.
We'll get that official word during the break, but this is most recent protege, Kendrick Lamar, and he produced this one, The Recipe.
Yeah, must have. Yeah.
And he features on this track anyway.
So, out of all of the proteges, who's your favourite? Who is the best?
For me,
it's extremely hard.
Between Snoop and Eminem.
Yeah. I'm going to say M, but if Kendrick keeps going in his rate, because he's just released a song called The Black of the Berry, and that was just, it's so good. It's about race. Just go and listen to it. If Kendrick keeps going at the race he's doing, he might be the best. Like I can see Kendrick being one of the greatest rappers of all time at his rate.
Another thing you notice for things like this is you get loads of like cliques in rap, don't you? Like Nas and Premier and fucking Dre.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like the combination. Yeah. No, that is important. It goes back to like the 80s, man, when it was a DJ and it was a rapper. You know, makes sense.
And they work together sometimes.
So it's how you build the chemistry, isn't it?
This song is The Recipe, and this is Dr. Dre. Oh, this is Kendrick Lamar featuring Dr. Dre. Here we go.
Every morning when I wake up, money on my mind. Sound never come and play. What more can I say? Welcome to LA.
That way tune.
I
might have done actually, but God knows.
And there we have it. And I think we've in the 2 hour span maybe a bit less.
We've not even covered.
No, we could cover we could do a part.
Scratch
We
the
could do a
surface,
part. Yeah, we
like,
could do part 2, Dre. But we've covered this his production a lot.
Yeah, we have.
But
you,
we could.
You know what it's like.
If
Yeah.
we do a general show next week, we can wrap it up. Just we could do like what we missed
Yeah,
out next.
that's the thing.
Yeah.
You
Stay
know,
tuned for
We'll
that.
just play it. Or...
Dre's had such a long, storied career that you could do a part 2 if come to it. But I think we covered,
We did the
yeah, chronologically we done that well. We covered his protege as well as I think.
Yeah. We covered him rapping, his production, and
Yeah.
yeah.
And it just goes to show there's a reason Dre is the richest musician in the world right now. Because he stays like
prolific.
He's prolific. He goes with the times.
Yeah, and he worked with I've just been reading that apparently we're meant to work with Rakim on an album.
Rakim, yeah.
And obviously Rakim's a brilliant rapper.
He's the best lyricist ever, Rakim.
Yeah. And he wouldn't work with him because he just
he signed him to Interscope Records, and that was the thing. Like, they just couldn't. They had musical differences.
So he knows when to, he won't just jump into something for a name. So
exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, he takes his time with his albums,
Yeah,
and his last album was '99. We're still waiting on Detox, which was rumored around 2005. It's been. Huh?
Like,
no, it hasn't.
Yeah, there's definitely
No, it's fake, Tom.
Yeah. No.
Everything that's been leaked or rumored or whatever about Detox is fake. But this has been like the most anticipated rap album ever. Everyone name drops it. Eminem's name dropped it a lot. Game has name dropped it, and they always say this year's the year. But the reason they say this year is going to be the year for Detox to come out is because of the movie. It's because of the NWA biopic. He said he's going to release. It's said that he's going to release music, around the time that the movie gets released. So hopefully, but a lot of other rappers think Detox will never get released. They just don't think Dre will get round to doing it, just because he's such a busy businessman now. Like, you can imagine his day to day. Can you imagine his day to day runnings? So yeah, that's the rumor anyway. People. I hope Detox comes out though. I mean, it'd be great, wouldn't it? Be great, another Dre album. It'd be interesting as well to see how he's developed, because obviously there was still G-Funk in Chronic 2001, and obviously Chronic was G-Funk. But you couldn't get away with doing G-Funk now, could you? It'd be a bit weird.
I don't know. I think if you had the right rapper over it,
The thing is now, with the resurgence of rap, there's been a resurgence over the past 3 years of a lot of up and coming rappers that are good. He could have a lot of good features on it. So
I think it'll be like in 20 years when rap as we know it might change, because obviously
the sound.
Yeah, because it'll all become too electronic, won't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully
it's
not.
all samples now, isn't it?
Hopefully not.
No,
rap.
Yeah, well, actually, there's
rap right now is it had a lull in the mid 2000s, but rap right now is strong, man. There's a lot of good rappers out there.
Badass album, check that out.
Exactly. Like the features Drake could have in Detox is, he could have some good.
Anyway, we better wrap up, because we're 2 minutes past.
Indeed. So
this song's from.
Hope you like this. When you get to listen to the show, Dre, I hope you liked it. This is your boy Paddy Stanton, and I'm open to any sort of contract you can sign me to.
You can produce straight out of Preston.
Yeah,
the album.
Exactly.
and you're like, when you released that film, Straight Out of Old Compton, we want some royalties because you stole our name. Dr. Dre, we're coming for you, geezer. Yeah.
Right, and we're ending on a track that's an old
this is from, when is it from?
1993 or something?
92.
Yeah, and this is hard.
Whose album is this from? Is this from?
I don't know.
I'm sure this was just a single, wasn't it?
Single, yeah.
A soundtrack.
Oh, it was from a film. It was deep cover of the film.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's.
It won't Weekend.
No, it's not.
You get mixed up again, Lou.
Mixed up.
Let's fire away.
This was a homage to Dre and a homage to Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
So respect.
And Snoop Dogg, and watch the film, and more importantly, listen to this back when we post it on the